Welcome to the podcast. This is our second podcast. Insert fanfare. And, yeah. Welcome. So, how's your day been?
Mine was actually alright. We had a nice amount of customers in the store.
That sounds good. That's very good. Mine was relatively quick and went by in a blur. I was going to watch Better Call Saul tonight, but my DVR failed me and did not record it. But I did watch wrestling tonight, and I'm starting to give up on it. I mean, they have a great match lined up for WrestleMania, with the Intercontinental title being held in a ladder match, and there's a lot of great people. You got Dolph Ziggler, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Bad News Barrett. They're all going to be in that. But the fact that they relied on Jon Stewart to carry the fucking show this evening for one of the segments, but I think was probably the longest segment, was that was sad. The best part about it tonight, though, was Paul Heyman got his mic shut off for saying, at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar will go Ronda Rousey on your ass. And he got his mic turned off for saying that, and that was the best part of that. Other than that, I'm losing faith. But, in other news, before mating, a female giraffe will first urinate in the male's mouth.
That's info I could have gone living without knowing.
Giraffes are into water sports. Fact of life. Everyone should know that. They get kicks off of water sports. So the next time you're at the zoo, just look at that giraffe in the eye and say, "You kinky son of a bitch."
I don't think I'll be able to look it in the eye anymore.
Yeah, it's just that good, giraffe. You're just gonna look at it and shake your head, man. You really got some problems. You should probably see a shrink about that.
It's gonna look away like, oh god, he knows.
He knows. So, some other big news. The Unreal Engine has gone free.
Yes.
Unreal Engine has gone free. Hello, viewers. I'm sorry. I'm currently in a menu right now, but right now I'm doing a podcast. Hello. You're getting a sneak peek into the future. But the Unreal Engine is free today. Yes, it is, and
yeah, there goes the rest of my free time.
Yeah. Now that Unreal Engine, and it's not just Unreal Engine, it's Unreal Engine 4 is free, and there's so many great games on that. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Dead Island 2, but I will admit it is a pretty game. It is pretty.
Oh
It's
yeah,
got nice light brights. It's got bright colors and nice and shiny things and
nice
stuff that
light
splatter at me, and it keeps my attention.
You said light brights.
Yeah, light brights. I fucking love those. Light brights were the shit. I remember once in a bunk bed, and we were in the bottom bunk, and we had all that shit like tinted over with blankets and shit, and we're down in the bottom, and we got like a lamp down in there and a light bright, and what we did is we put a piece of we took the mattress out of the top part and put a piece of cardboard over it, and then cut a hole in the piece of cardboard so we could put a telescope in it. You know, like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's not a telescope, but it's the fucking thing where you look around. Periscope. There we go. Yeah. Light brights were fucking awesome. Now back to what I was saying. Unreal Engine 4 is free. And let's see. I had a list of games up that were made by the Unreal Engine free. Or the Unreal Engine 4. It was Dead Island and a couple other games, but
I'm more interested in like the indie stuff that comes from that. Like even before it went free, there was the most recent video was it was an apartment, like all completely rendered out in Unreal Engine 4, and it was just like an apartment tour, but you could not tell that it was rendered in a video game engine. You walk in it and shit looks real. Like
Interesting.
like the textures on cloth and everything, those normally don't look that great. This was just ridiculous. Oh my god, I'm doing a barrel roll.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Unreal Engine 4 being free is gonna, and they're not asking too much. I think it was 15% royalties, if that,
Yeah.
10%, 15%.
Yeah, I didn't
It might have
even
been lower, but I mean, that's gonna be cracking out some really good video games.
Oh hell yeah.
I mean, when the UDK came out, the Unreal Development Kit came out. That one was a big help to the indie development. The indie teams around the world. There's a lot of games that came out of that, and and Unreal Engine 4 is gonna be running. That was one of the other games that just popped in my head. The next Gears of War game will be running off Unreal Engine 4. Now, if we have indie developers who can use this thing, we're gonna be getting some indie games that look pretty fucking sweet. I mean,
there was one that I
indie
played
games that are
recently.
gonna be competing with AAA games.
Yeah, there was one I played recently. I can't remember the name of it, but it was Journey to something. Hang on, it's in my Steam. Pull it up real quick. It was Mind Path to the Thalamus, and that was the most gorgeous game I have ever seen. Like, and it was just an indie game. It was just it was you remember those old Myst games? Those old puzzle games where you gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. Only you can move around and shit like freely.
Yeah.
That was just so good. That made it into one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the this new era of video games. Indie games are increasingly becoming the thing. I mean, you combine Unreal Engine 4 with a nice little Kickstarter project, and there's no telling what could be happening out of that.
Yeah.
Mainly what I would like to see done with it, I'd like to see some innovative multiplayer games happen. I mean, I love, like, for instance, Evolve has a fantastic concept. I think it was done well, but there was a lot of poor choices made in the process that I feel like come out of there because it is a AAA game.
Oh yeah.
And for instance, they locked almost 85% of its content just so that you would have to level up and get it. Now, granted, I know they're trying to extend the life of the game, and then pleading saying it has 800,000 different endings. I feel like all of that was an attempt to say of them realizing, yeah, our game loses its replay value really quick, and we want to lock everything up and slowly give you the rest of the game because we really want to drag out what little there already is.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting a Titanfall vibe from it.
I just want a game. I just want some functional multiplayer, just right off the gate. I mean, Team Fortress 2, why is it great? Because it is functional multiplayer right out of the fucking gate. Halo, it is functional multiplayer right out of the gate. And I think if you're going to focus a game on that, then do it the right fucking way where everyone enjoys it.
Yeah.
Pardon my French. That's just how I feel about it. Now that speaking of doing things right and fucking a game up, DayZ's creator is in the news again. He said that DayZ made him a great deal of money. Yeah, everyone knows that. He called his ideas radical, and he has no interest in half measures, and he doesn't want to make safe games. He says, quote unquote, I want to fail as often as I need to in order to deliver the kind of games that I want to actually play. He says, what if the most experienced, blah, 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 blah. Basically what I've seen in this, y'all can look up this interview, but He said, Daisy was born out of my aborted attempts to make a database architecture to support my wild mass multiplayer ideas. And to quote, this is what making video games is about for me. It's about trying new things, being bold, working on my first improbable game is the most exhilarating thing I've ever done. Now, I appreciate the guy for being, what's the word I'm looking for here? For aspiring and dreaming big. But the guy has a track record for just trying and fucking up for about a year and a half, 3 years. How many years now has this game, AZ, been in the works? And him just trying to be like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this. And everyone's just like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds really cool. Like, you just get everybody excited. And no, it's kind of like the guy behind Fable. That guy, oh, Jesus. That guy has some serious issues with saying he's going to make some amazing stuff and never going through with it. Apparently, he was making a new, I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me, but he was making a game called Goddess. And holy shit. Wow. He raised a shit ton of money on Kickstarter, had his own team built up because every other development team and publisher in the industry had pretty much just blackballed him because, well, let's face it, he's fucked over some people. So basically, he said this game's going to do this and just promised a single server multiplayer where hundreds of people are playing, and yeah, it's not going to happen because that technology isn't there yet.
At least not on console.
Well, he was on PC, same as going to be on PC, and I mean, he was making some radical claims. And guess what happened? It flopped, and the Kickstarter money is there, but not going towards the game. And said the game's not going to be what it originally was intended to be, but it'll be something less than what they promised. And this all, and then people want to say, well, we paid for this. No, you donated.
Yeah, I don't really donate to Kickstarter too often for that specific reason. Like,
the only thing I would donate to Kickstarter right now, and even it being something I do like, I'm just like, meh, it'll get released. Like, is the Shadowrun game. And apparently if you donate like such and such amount, like X amount of money, you actually get to be a character in the game. And it's going to be an indie game and be more along the lines of an updated version of the original SNES and Sega version.
Yeah.
I loved both versions. Both versions were simply fantastic. That Xbox 360 bullshit, anyone who, if I say Shadowrun and you think 360, I want to fucking slap you. Because that is not Shadowrun. Shadowrun is a mixture between mythical and cyberpunk, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like Conan the Barbarian meets fucking Blade Runner, and it is just amazing.
Yeah.
But I love the original as well. The soundtrack for the SNES version, the Sega version had some good ones, but I favor the SNES version just a little bit more. It had just a little bit more depth to it. And it's like the difference between 8-bit and 16-bit is just a little bit better. And I really do need to look into that game, see what's going on with it, see if there's actually a playable demo. Which brings me to, lately, I've been craving retro games. You ever just get a craving for a game, like a specific game? You're not sure what game it is, but you'll know it when you play it.
Yeah.
And I think I might have found it, but I'm not sure. Because I do not like turn-based strategy. But it is a game called Halfway. And what drew my attention to it is that the cover looks not unlike Shadowrun. And it has a... like, I don't know how to explain it. On the cover of Shadowrun, it shows 3 characters. And one of them's kind of like looking at one guy who's trying to hack this ATM-looking thing that's connected to a door. While there's this chick who's scantily clad, and she's got like 2 pistols out, and she's looking around the corner like, oh, fuck, they're coming. And, yeah. Now, the case or the cover art, should I say, for Halfway looks similar to that, but it's also kind of a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it. Take that and then Halo Reach, put it together, and then the main guy standing out front looks like Dolph Lundgren. I was just like, okay, you have my attention. That's one thing I love about 80s games, that they always ripped off some other kind of movie. Like, for instance, the first Metal Gear Solid on the Nintendo ripped off fucking Terminator. And that was awesome. And that's why... Oh, fuck. I just wiped out really bad. Occasionally, I just lose all traction and hit a house.
Hit a house?
I hit a house.
Are the people okay?
You know what would be awesome? I want to see Playground team up with the Frostbite engine for one of these games.
Destructible environments.
I'm not saying I want Burnout. I'm just saying when I hit something, I want it to get fucked up.
Drive through houses.
Oh my god, if I drive through a house and there's just like someone sitting there, be like, "Ah, fuck, you're in my house."
I want the damage model from Grid in Forza.
Yeah, Grid has an impeccable damage model.
Yeah, when I hit the corner of my car on a solid object that's not gonna move, yeah, there's not gonna be much of that car left.
Nope. This is very true. And moving on to the next subject. What was the next subject?
I think the next one was the Catwoman thing.
Ah, yes, Catwoman.
I didn't get a chance to read through a lot of that, but...
In comic book news, Catwoman is officially canon. It is officially canon that she is a bisexual. Can somebody pick up that phone? Because every single fucking comic book reader ever called it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Elton John saying, "Hey, by the way, I'm gay." Really? Oh, not, you know, I didn't see that coming. But yeah, Catwoman is bisexual.
Yeah,
now,
an obvious thing that didn't really need to be stated.
Yep. Now let Rule 34 take its place.
Like
I know it already
yeah.
it already has been for a while, but you know, just because of this news story, there's going to be an influx of /B just everywhere. Speaking of Batman characters, did you watch that video I sent you?
Video?
The 50
oh,
Shades of
no,
Wayne.
I didn't see that.
50 Shades of Wayne is the funniest fucking thing I've seen in a while. They take clips from the Dark Knight trilogy and play it into the 50 Shades of Grey trailer to make it look like Grey, the guy that she's seeing, is Bruce Wayne. And that, you know, the part in the trailer where she goes to, he's like trying to say, well, I have, you know, a different side of me. And instead of that, it's Bruce Wayne being like, there's more to me than more on the inside. And she's like, show me. And then it shows him opening up the fucking that part where he sticks the key in to go show her, you know, his dungeon in the movie, in the trailer. In this version, it's him opening up the fucking Batman case, and he's all suiting up as Batman. Meanwhile, she's all getting tied up and shit. And as soon as he gets done suiting up as Batman, he just says, "If you get nervous, I have a sedative."
Wow.
And it gets so creative. Do you remember in Batman Begins when he's trying to make the little fabric for the little electromagnetic fabric or whatever for the flying?
Yeah.
For his cape. Okay, remember how he's like whipping that shit back and forth?
Yeah.
Like, trying to get it to stay. It just shows a clip of her, and then it switches to that, and then when he does it, they add in a whip sound effect. And I suggest, if anyone has not seen that yet, 50 Shades of Wayne, it is a good laugh for comic book fans and people who are just plain sick of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, that really didn't need a movie.
It did not need a movie. I mean, you know why it needed a movie?
So people can
Because
bitch about it.
money, money.
Like the
Because
movie,
people
like the
love money.
like the book didn't make enough money.
Nope, book did not make enough money.
Yeah, it's never enough
But
money.
speaking of books, Jurassic Park's a book. Yeah, that was a terrible segue. I've reached for that one. But I was watching Jurassic Park tonight, and the T-Rex was just so awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, the T-Rex was fucking awesome. And going into Jurassic Park World, we all have the same problem, is that, oh, the T-Rex, you know, we had the first T-Rex, and then the second movie we had 2 T-Rexes. And then in Jurassic Park 3, we had the Spinosaurus kill a T-Rex, which I'm going to come back to in a second. And in the new one, I'm just curious, are we going to have a scene where the T-Rex that we know and love, and hopefully, I've heard rumors that the T-Rex that we'll see in Jurassic World is the same one from the first movie. I seen a 3D model of it, and it has scars exactly from where it got attacked by the Velociraptors in the first one. So we have the same T-Rex coming back in Jurassic World. And my only thing is that please just let the T-Rex in one part of the movie do its thing and be a fucking badass.
Yeah.
And going back to Jurassic Park 3, one thing that pissed me off is as soon as the T-Rex shows up, it's dead. Like within a minute later, it's dead, and they just kill it off. And it's just annoying. And this is how I feel about it. Let's think about it in wrestling. Yes, I'm going to use a wrestling analogy because it's the only thing I really know how to compare it to. When there's a new guy that comes onto the scene, and this is the new guy. He's got some talent, but in order to make him popular, we have to put him up against one of the big baddies of the current within the company that's already established, so that we can make him seem as a threat or viable. So it's just annoying. I feel like it's so gimmicky, like, oh, here's the person and you know how that badass they are. Well, this guy can whoop that guy's ass.
Yeah.
No, we don't need that. No, we don't need that. Just let it do its thing on its own without even having to encounter that. Or if they do have a fight, like, come on, make it a little even. I don't know. I just feel like, just don't fuck it up. Just don't have the T-Rex get its neck snapped like a pussy again, please. That's all I ask. That is all I ask. But yeah. I feel like I had some more stuff that I was going to talk about, but I can't remember. I watched the Mortal Kombat X trailer. It's a new trailer, should I say. And Sub-Zero is on some mountain, and I only watched it once. I probably should have watched it a few times to get a little bit more down. But Sub-Zero is on this mountain, and he doesn't have his mask on, and he looks all rugged and like he's some kind of fucking what's his name? Fucking reference failed. But Liam Neeson. Like he's like some Liam Neeson asshole. Like he's all acting badass. Kind of, to be honest, without his mask on, he reminds me of Slade Wilson. I don't know if you've ever seen Deathstroke without his mask on, but he looked a lot like Slade Wilson. And but it was badass nonetheless. And people show up, and he's like, "What are you doing here? This team?" And then it cuts away and shows some people fighting and some cutscenes, and then he says, "Oh, you can't even lead your team. They even follow you." And then something about an amulet, and then it shows a guy stealing someone's soul, and then they completely disappear into the amulet. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, I'd much rather see this as a movie than a game.
Yeah.
Like, I watched the trailer and was ready to watch a movie and not a game, and play a game. And I'm not saying Mortal Kombat X isn't going to be fun. Mortal Kombat is always come up with something great, something fun, something innovative. I mean, I trust that team. Those guys know what they're doing. They've been doing it for years, and they get away with what they do. But I don't know. I just don't like it when I see a game trailer, and usually it's just always a bad thing when it makes me want to watch a movie and not play a game.
Yeah, I've noticed with the most recent ones, I've always enjoyed watching it more than I have played it.
This is breaking news. Breaking news. I'm sure by the time this gets published, it'll be old news. But breaking news right now. Tron Legacy director reportedly in talks to helm Gran Turismo movie. Okay, I don't give a shit about a director or Tron Legacy. What I do give a shit about, or have an opinion about, is I got how Need for Speed could be made a movie. Need for Speed usually had a narrative. It has always had some kind of story to it that it followed, especially games like Need for Speed Undercover, or the most recent Need for Speed, was that one Need for Speed The Run that Michael Bay had some production within it. Was it The Run? I think it was.
Probably.
And,
there sure as hell ain't a bunch of explosions and Rivals.
Yeah, Need for Speed The Run was the one that Michael Bay was involved with, and it was very cinematic. Need for Speed.
There was a lot of hand holding in that one.
Yeah, Need for Speed was very cinematic, and I'm just saying that Need for Speed's always had. What I'm trying to say is that there's always had some sort of story or narrative to go with it. But Gran Turismo, how in the hell do you make a game out of that? Or sorry, a movie out of that?
No talking, just engine sounds.
Just engine sounds. The whole
I don't know.
time.
They could. I don't know.
I mean,
have you seen the series of they use the Gran Turismo game to like
the GT Academy.
Yeah, like they could probably they could probably pull something like that. Have a
I see what you're saying. Maybe that it's actually kind of based around the game.
Maybe,
like
or
it's real life based around the game. I mean, if they're looking to have the Tron Legacy director make it, maybe they are going that direction with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing that piques my interest. Is maybe okay, we were going to take someone who has experience with real life crossed over into digital life and depicting that on screen. Or maybe not. Maybe they just wanted a guy who knows how to make flashy colors and lots of sequences.
Know how to set a scene to make it go, ooh.
As long as Daft Punk does the soundtrack, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know, the Gran Turismo games normally have a good soundtrack, though.
But I'm saying, Gran Turismo movie with Daft Punk in the background, I'll go see that. For sure.
Just for Daft Punk.
Just for Daft Punk. I'm pretty much going to a Daft Punk concert with that. In all honesty, that would be the only reason.
I don't know. If it becomes a thing, I'll probably watch it just for the cars.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about the new announced games for Xbox One and Xbox 360.
Oh, the free to gold.
The gold titles. Now, here's what I think is really odd. Not odd. It's kind of awesome. It's a good thing, but it's also kind of a weird thing. Is that I feel like Microsoft is pandering to the 360 crowd with their gold games more than the Xbox One crowd. Now, granted, we have gotten some decent games on the Xbox One, but they've all been small. I mean, the last game we got was iDarb. Well, I admit iDarb is incredibly addictive, and I spent quite a few hours on playing that game. I do feel like that game was, I don't know, like... I mean, we got Worms. Yeah, Worms, again, another game that I spent a lot of hours on. They give us games that can invest a lot of hours, but they're not, like, badass. Holy shit, I can't believe they're giving this to me for free.
Well, the thing is, with the free games, the games that they've been giving out have already been out for a while. The Xbox One is still relatively new, so there's nothing out that's been out for a while other than, like, the indie games that have been out for a while on other platforms.
I want Wolfenstein for free.
But yeah,
I want
like
to play Wolfenstein, and I would not mind playing it for free.
give it another year maybe, and then you'll start getting some more, AAA titles.
Titanfall.
That I wouldn't even download that. I own it and I don't play it.
But
I own everything for it, like the DLC and everything for it, and it just sits in a folder.
So, this month's games, we will be getting, as you said, let me see. We will be getting BioShock Infinite on the 360, and what was the other title? Yes, Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider, yeah.
And we're not talking about the old-ass Tomb Raiders they've been giving us. We're talking about the new one, the rebooted one that came out, was it about 2 years ago?
Three or four.
3 years ago.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, it's already been 3 years?
Yeah, it's 2012.
Oh, you're right. It was late 2012. It was about fall of 2012, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But another thing in the new PAX East. Got a lot of people showing up at PAX East. Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, PC, iOS, Android, and current gen systems. I'm curious what we'll see. I feel like one thing happens with PAX East though is that we get a lot of games that we already know are coming out, and it's just basically a larger platform for people to go, hey, you remember this game? Yeah. Remember we announced it last year at E3? Yeah. Well, it's coming out here pretty soon. Okay. And here's some gameplay footage of it. Sweet. But seems like I'm sure Battlefield Hardline will be up there. Fable Legends. I'm sure Halo 5 will be mentioned. Let me see what other.
No, there's not even really any need to mention it. They just need to show some campaign now.
Yeah.
I mean, the beta is already
out. Something tells me they'll be talking about Elder Scrolls, maybe Elder Scrolls Online. I think maybe that'll be a game that might get talked about.
No,
I feel
doubt
like if there's.
I feel like if they're gonna talk about anything, it'll either be Red Dead or not Red Dead. Why am I thinking that? Oh, what the hell? Fallout.
Bethesda will have a panel at E3. I guarantee you, if they mention anything about it's gonna be, I think it's a Sunday night event. I think that's what I heard. I heard that through a giant bomb. I think Sunday night they will be doing a panel for a couple hours. Honestly, I think it's going to be another Fallout.
Yeah, that's kind of what the pattern is. Because like the Elder Scrolls Online wasn't really an Elder Scrolls game. It was just some other. To me, that was a side project for them.
Yeah, but Elder Scrolls Online, I'm sure will be talked about a little bit more, and it moving over to the console, like maybe debuting some console features in the console version. I personally, I want to see Fallout, but we'll see.
The Elder Scrolls Online wasn't already on the consoles?
I do not believe it has had the console release yet. I think it's only PC right now.
It's been like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's just PC only right now. Pretty sure.
Could have swore that was day one release stuff.
Nope.
They're slacking.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. Have you seen that Power Rangers fan film that's out right now? I'm just gonna sum it up. Basically, we get the Pink Ranger in first person, running out onto a battlefield with some other like ODST looking motherfuckers, and then it shows the other Rangers. Like she looks over and there's a Yellow Ranger. And they actually got guns and shit, like realistic machine guns and shit. And I guess some bad guy has taken over one of the Megazords, and they're just like fucking shooting at it. Next thing you know, we wind up. And I think it's the original actress who played the Pink Ranger too.
Yeah, I know the White Ranger did a lot of fan stuff.
And move over to the next cutscene, and I think it's the green. Which was the green? Wait, no, was it the Green Ranger, White Ranger that was an asshole? Which one? I can't remember. Anyhow, it was one of the next Rangers who's just an asshole. And oh god, what is that? What is the name of that actor from Dawson's Creek?
I didn't watch.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's in it, and that was actually really decent acting. Apparently there's a bootlegged version of the fan film, and it's actually a lot longer than I thought it was. And there's blood, and there's super violent, there's nudity, and it is everything us grown-up Power Ranger fans deserve. Like, okay, think of it this way. Here's how I see it. As a kid, Power Rangers was this like ultra-violent, awesome, badass thing. We're just like, oh, this is so cool. Now fast forward to us in our 20s, and we're like, oh, okay, that was really fucking stupid.
Wow, all of that is made of foam.
Yeah. So what I feel like they did is they took Power Rangers and how we felt about it as a kid, and goes, how can we get that same reaction that we got out of the 4-year-old version of you, out of the 20-year-old version of you? Well, this is it. This is the result that we would need to get that result. It's pretty fucking great. People have said it's like if Guam del Toro and Quentin Tarantino got together to make a Power Rangers film, it would be this.
Oh, badass.
And it's pretty badass. But apparently the people who hold the rights to Power Rangers are flipping the fuck out because they already... Well, the thing is that there was already a reboot in the make. And...
That's not the one we want, though.
Yeah, no, this is what we want. I don't want another Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with, this generation's cream of the crop teenagers playing them. I don't want Josh Hutcherson playing the fucking Red Ranger.
Oh,
I want this shit. I want
all the originals.
The original cast being badasses again, and just, yeah, this is awesome. But, yeah. Pretty sure there was a severed head at one point in this, but I can't remember. I'd have to watch it again. I'm going to announce it here, but I'll probably announce it elsewhere. In April, we will be recording a Mortal Kombat X tournament. We will be interviewing contestants as well as entering ourselves to brutally fail in the first rounds. And
no. You'll be entering. I'll be filming.
Yeah, I will enter and brutally fail in the first rounds. Maybe. Depends. If I get a hold of a demo and I pick one character and just fucking beast mode on that, I might have a chance.
I don't know.
I get Sub-Zero or one of the two and kind of kick ass. But then again, people usually really know those characters' moves and shit like that. So I might pick someone else. Yeah, you gotta pick
someone like Noob or Smoke or...
Yeah. Probably pick one of the chicks, just for the fuck of it.
Speed characters.
I remember the first time I played Mortal Kombat. This was years ago, and I was like, "Oh man, this chick's hot." And my friend was just like, okay." I was like, "What? Why? Why?" He's like, "No, go ahead and play with her." And I was like, "Okay, play with her." Anyhow, no, but I was in there fighting him, and he's like, "Do your finisher thing." And she takes off her fucking mask, and I see that face, and I'm just like, ah! The hell is this?
Katrina, I think is her name.
Katrina, I think so. One of those chicks, like, she has a doppelganger type character. You know how there's always that character in those fighting games that is like just a carbon copy of another character. It just kind of looks different. A couple different finisher moves and bullshit. It could have just been an alternate costume. In all honesty, but
I mean that's pretty much what it was. It's just that's what they had to work with in the original PlayStation.
Yeah. But they cut one of those characters.
They added a fuck ton of playable characters to this one though, didn't they?
I think so.
It's pretty much all the characters from previous games in this one, isn't it?
Except for one, from what I heard. Yeah, they're
And
cutting one out, and people had a shit fit about it. But
aren't they bringing it back as like a pre-order? Like you pre-order the game and then you can play as them.
most likely, that seems exactly like something would do, just to cut someone out of the. Just like, oh, we're gonna cut these characters out, but we're gonna give them back to you in DLC because we like to fuck people over like that.
Yeah. No, if people would
And,
stop pre-ordering these fucking games, we wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah.
Stop buying it for the pre-order content. Just like it's not worth it.
I'll be honest, I am guilty of doing that. I pre-ordered Hardline to get the badass sniper rifle.
And do you use a sniper rifle in Battlefield?
I do. I like my sniper. It comes with like your a sniper and it comes with a kit of these badass guns.
Okay,
and,
so it's a battle kit.
Yeah, it's a battle kit, and I like playing as a sniper in Battlefield. It is one of my preferred roles. The only problem with it is in Battlefield Hardline, they start you out with a shitty fucking gun that is like, okay, here's the way I feel. I feel like they handed me a BB gun, and they pointed 200 yards down range and said, hey, there's a deer. Kill it and I'll give you a better gun. And I said, really? I just have to kill it once? And they said, no, you have to kill it 20 times, and then I'll give you a better gun. But the thing is this BB gun, not only is it not that lethal, but it kicks like a fucking mule, and yeah. That pissed me off. Although, that aside, Hardline looks like an incredibly awesome game.
I still think it should have been DLC.
Oh, you got a point, but at the same time,
everything that I did in the beta was stuff that I was doing in Battlefield 3.
Yeah, I feel you, but I don't know. Here's how I felt about it. When I was playing the Hotwire match, which was my favorite thing to do. When I was playing Hotwire, I was like, okay, this is how I wished Grand Theft Auto 5 first person felt like. I wish that I could hang out my fucking window on Grand Theft Auto 5 and actually get some accurate shots in, instead of turning around and not being able to shoot at shit because my friends are in the back seat.
Or the person driving is just incompetent as shit.
Yeah, that happens too. But that happens in Battlefield too, you know. But
oh yeah, but at least you can steady cam, like,
yeah,
you can aim down your sights and shit.
There's also this new game out called The Escapist that everyone's been talking about.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
$17.99 little pixel game. I still feel like these $20 for pixel games is a little bullshit. I would easily pay $10. Like that game that I was looking at today, the Halfway, $12.99. I'd easily pay that, especially when the review says that it's like Alien and XCOM had a baby. I'm like, okay, all right, I might try that out.
You also got to think about the content that's in the game. Like, even though it's a pixel-based game, like there can be so much content in those games. Like stuff like Terraria and Starbound.
This game seems like, okay, it is an RPG. It looks like you have to take care of, like what I'm seeing here. So we got that thing, we got health and energy, and it shows your day, the time, and then what period it is, like the day 1, day 2 bullshit, one of those games. And you're basically you're trying to escape prison. The prison break simulation that provides players the opportunity of experiencing a lighthearted insight into everyday prison life. Whilst the aim of the game is simply to escape, the detail is in the execution. Don't say the word execution too loud in prison. That was in parentheses. You may not be in an open prison, but you are in an open world where in between attending roll calls, meal times, and doing your chores, you should grab every chance to plan your escape. Do you do favors for other inmates, earning money and boosting their opinion of you along the way, or work out and become stronger? So this actually does seem interesting.
It's a Like the dating sims have had that kind of model for a long time. So it's a stat-based game. You build stats in certain areas, and by the time the game's done, it'll pick your outcome depending on how you trained yourself.
Basically.
So yeah, it's a dating sim for fucking prison. Awesome.
Now that you put it that way, that sounds terrible.
That's just what I
That's
get
just
from it. It's
awful.
probably not that, but that's just what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
There's so many games that stand out to me that I would like to get on here. So many games, so many little time. One game that I am interested for to see if it gets announced at PAX, like anything else about it, is what is that? Ori and the Light. I think I'm pronounced, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't know. I'm a little dazed and confused with. It's getting late, but I think that's it. Ori and the Light. I think that's what it's called.
I think I.
But it was what was originally showed at one of the Xbox One when they were showing. Oh yeah. We're gonna have indie games like the second, because they had that first panel at the beginning of the year where they didn't show shit and acted like they weren't gonna let indie games be on their console, and then they retracted every single damn statement they had at the Xbox One conference at E3, and re-ramped their got their shit together and did the Xbox One right, which is the only reason I got one. Otherwise, I would have ended up with the PS4, but they got their shit together and didn't want to make the transition to another console, so I stuck with the Xbox. Point being is that it was one of the indie games that they showcased. And I remember seeing the trailer, and this little light character, this little fox, whatever, it looked like Mew from Pokemon, to be honest. And it's like, yay, this is fun, and I made a friend with one of the locals, and I'm not from around here, but kind of this ET thing going on.
Yeah, it's the I know exactly what you're talking about now. It's the same devs who did
I think it's the same people who made Limbo, wasn't it?
No, it was a fucking hell, I have it. Awesome game. I'm so pissed it's not coming to PC.
Yeah. That game looks really fun. I remember getting some feels in the chest, getting kind of sniffles when they showed just in the first like 5 seconds of it. It's like, oh, he's having fun. This guy, this is all lighthearted and fun. And then he goes up to the character and he's laying there on the ground, and he goes up to him and nudges him and tries to lift up his arm, and his arm falls down limp, and he realizes he's dead.
Yeah.
And it was sad. But then he goes on an epic quest to defeat the darkness that killed him. And that seems fun.
Same devs as Dust and Elysian Tale. That was the other game they did, and that one was
Dust.
awesome. I still need to finish that. Awesome game, though.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to get Resident Evil Revelations or the original Resident Evil game.
I'd probably
the remaster.
I'd probably get the remaster before getting Revelations 2.
The remaster does look pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Except the remaster just had so many difficult problems with it.
That's the fun about old games like that, though.
Yeah, that was the fun about old games. It was a bitch to play. I remember, and stretching back, this is gonna make, I don't know. This is gonna make, it makes me feel old, but at the same time, it's gonna make other people feel older. I remember playing Tomb Raider as a kid, and being stuck in that fucking room for the longest time. Remember, like, I think you were in your bathing suit or something, and there's like this little, like, spent so much time in that little room, and that just goes to show, and that brings me to another thought, though, is that just that little room and how much detail that was put into it. I remember at the time, I was like, wow, video games have came so far since Sonic, and this is the shit, and this is so much better than Mario and this little 8-bit games. Like, I can walk around a full-blown room, and there's running water, and this is so amazing, and I spent so much time in there, and actually I don't even recall if I ever made my way out of it. And nowadays, like, that, you look back on that and you're like, shit, I flipped out over that? Yeah, we've came a long way.
I still
At the same
flip out
time-
at old games like that. Like, wow, because we've come a long way with graphics and some
But at the
game
same
mechanics.
time,
We haven't really come that far.
yeah, but at the same time, when you look at it though, there's some games that were ahead of their time though.
Oh yeah.
Tomb Raider was one of those games. I felt like, I don't know, it was legendary at its. I don't think Tomb Raider was ahead of its time.
No,
Probably
it was
perfect timing.
Yeah.
It was great, but I feel like Tomb Raider is one of those IPs. I really feel like any time from that point or later would have been successful. Whether it had gotten released on the PlayStation 1 or the PlayStation 2, it would have been great. Speaking of female-driven games, though, like female lead role, I wouldn't say female-driven. That's bad, but female lead games. Perfect Dark Zero. When in the fuck is that gonna get rebooted for the next gen?
About the same time.
Half-Life 3 gets made?
Oh no, that'll never get made. I'm trying to think of the name of that game. It was another one kind of like that. It was, female lead, and I can't remember the name of it now. Mine's going blank. Beyond Good and
Was
Evil.
it made? Beyond Good and Evil. Ah.
That one. Everyone wants a reboot or a sequel to that, and they teased it, and then like nothing happened with it, and I think the same thing's gonna happen with Perfect Dark.
Yeah, there's just there's some IPs. I mean, that's the thing is that there's like, oh, we need new IPs, and there's a lot of IPs that could get rebooted and actually have, a very successful, I feel like a successful launch nowadays without having to, really make anything new. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of games I just want to have remastered. I mean, I'm not even going back this far, but I want Mass Effect 1 remastered. I mean, if we're going to go back and remaster some games, talk about a game that could use remastering and a little bit of mechanic tweaking. Mass Effect 1.
Well, I don't know. I've played it, and the graphics are still gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, it's still got great visuals, but I mean, just imagine Mass Effect 3's graphics. Mass Effect 1 with Mass Effect 3's graphics would have been amazing.
Yeah.
And I hate to be someone. I'm not usually the guy who says, "Oh my God, I gotta have great graphics." I'm not saying a game has to completely rely on that. I'm just saying it's nice. Oh, I totally forgot. Speaking of great games that are legendary in their own right, I'm going to be doing an article about the game of the generation. It's been talked about lately. Hasn't been said. I know a few people have went out and said what their game of the generation is, but I'm going to be creating categories. I honestly wish I had a bigger viewer base to help kind of, put their word out for what they think would be fitting for that category. But I think we're gonna honestly, I can't say this game or that game's game of the year, but
You mean generation?
I think, or sorry, game of the generation. Thank you. But when it comes to Wii, I think each console should have its own game of the generation.
Each platform,
when it comes,
yeah.
Each platform should have its own game of the generation. Well, PC really doesn't have its own generation. PC is completely is constantly evolving and ongoing. It's a totally different breed in its own.
There's games that came out at different times that, stand above all others.
And I'd let you handle that part of it. For Xbox 360, and I think there will be some games that are cross-platform. That's one thing that I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so I feel like the definitive game of the generation should be a cross-platform one. And then beyond that, I will have the what do you call it?
Individual platform.
Yeah, individual platform, like it's game of the generation. What was this? So console exclusive, should I say? IP exclusive IP of the year, exclusive IP of the generation. For 360, exclusive IP of the generation would, Halo 3. I really feel like it'd be Halo 3. I know Mass Effect, technically, at first it was, but it crossed over to PS3 before the new consoles came out, so you can't really say that one.
Well, it was on PC as well, so...
Exactly. But I feel like Mass Effect would go into the RPG category, or action-adventure. Best action-adventure of the... or RPG. I want to give Mass Effect Best Action Adventure just as an excuse to have it and Skyrim in Game of the Generation, because that is, I really don't feel like I can give Game of the Generation, RPG of the Generation, to Mass Effect. The Mass Effect trilogy as a whole, to be honest. And completely diss and keep Skyrim out of that. I don't know if I can. I might.
I don't know. Skyrim,
I feel like I'm being a little biased.
Skyrim Vanilla wasn't all that great.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like the main storyline was alright at best, but like the side quests were decent, but like modded Skyrim is just amazing. But that's all user created content.
Yeah, that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
First person shooter of the generation. Battlefield Bad Company 2.
That's another cross-platform, though.
I'm not saying this would be for the 360. I'm saying in general, first person of the generation would probably first person shooter of the generation would probably go to Battlefield Bad Company 2. Unless you have another one in mind.
I'm trying to think. I don't play a lot of FPS games anymore. Like I love Counter-Strike and stuff like that, but that's all kind of just reused. Like the latest one, CS:GO. Nice, pretty graphics, but it's still the same engine.
Yeah. Racer of it, the generation. For me, personally, would be. I feel like it's Forza 4.
Nah, Forza 2.
Forza 2.
Yeah. I need to love that too.
For mechanics.
Just for the. I don't know. I enjoyed that one way more, maybe just because it was my first Forza game, but I enjoyed that one way more than the others. I liked 3 a lot, even more than 4.
Admittedly, Forza 4 was my first Forza game.
Yeah, I need to loan you Forza 2 and all these classic tracks and stuff. It's just They had their own tracks that they made up and everything, and they were so good, but they just took them out for the future games. Kind of dumb.
Oh, you have never played Bully, have you?
Nope.
Believe that is on Steam. You should probably get it. Although I heard that the controls for the Bully version on Steam are clunky. You might want to just get it for your 360.
Yeah, my 360 is kind of just collecting dust at this point.
It's a fun game though. I don't know how to explain it. It's like Animal House and Revenge of the Nerds all wrapped in one. Not Porky's. It's not that far. I wish it was that far, but it's not that far. People want Bully 2 to be rated M so that it can be like that, but I think that's what made Bully such a great success, is that it was like the kids who wanted to play GTA that couldn't played it, but then there's also people who liked GTA that seen this game and was like, it's something different. And it was fun. Yeah. Well, honestly, I think we've been going on for long enough now. We've covered a lot of topics. It's funny. We started off not knowing what to talk about and needing to have some cutaways, and then suddenly we just rambled on for enough time to fill it out. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of editing.
Oh, going to be a lot of editing. But, thanks, guys, for listening. This was our second podcast, and I'm Skylar.
And this is Anthony.
This is our podcast. Thanks for listening.
See you later.